Hello world! Put up your dukes for life fighters. We're here with the new Apex Legends Stories from the Outlands Fight Night, or as I like to call it, Noir Wars. This new Pathfinder focused cinematic is an absolute knockout on all fronts. So let's jump right out of the gate into the city of Malta. The city of Malta. Theoretically on Psamathe, there is a lot to connect us back to tons of elements of the Apex Legends universe here. We have the Chevrex Inc., Lifeline's parents' business. Exactly what that does, at least we know it's involved in drone manufacture, very possibly weapons manufacture as well. We have Silver Pharmaceuticals down here, Octane's parents' business. This is a Kodai Industries building, a company that has a huge presence just across the Outlands in general. Wanyon, apparently a weapons manufacturer, they make things like the EVA 8. Paradenia Arsenal make things like the RE45. Vincent Dynamics make things like the Charge Rifle, they're also responsible for rebuilding Ash, and we have the IMC. At the point of this cinematic, which we learn later in the cinematic is the year 2725, 8 years before the present day, evidently the IMC still has some sort of hold on the Outlands. It would be on its way out at this point as far as concerned. Although the city itself should actually be pretty familiar, because Malta was actually the setting for the Season 7 comic Family Portrait. And it kind of makes me wonder if Psamathe as a whole is a place we're going to become ever more familiar with. So, Respawn Entertainment. That transition, and this text are both so brilliant. I really like this. Like, it's such a gorgeous way to change colour palette, to give us a sort of eye into the seedier underbelly of Malta as a whole, as we're going to learn through our very classically noir voiceover very shortly. This text feels very, like, pulpy, almost like horror to me, like, that it's from, like, way before its time. The animation in this cinematic is top-notch, man.
Malta. A city with no end. Whole planet's a gilded cage.
Whole planet gilded cage, yeah. Building a bit more on Psamathe as this place entirely sort of the rich and powerful, and the corruption that obviously comes with that.
And the Canary screaming. Filthy or...
The Malta police force. We have learned recently that Nick, Gibraltar's ex, is involved in law enforcement, seemingly in Malta as well, so I wonder if Nick actually has a connection to this fine gentleman right here. Oh, I wonder if that means he's lost his wife. I hadn't actually thought about that. Also, friends with Forge. We'll learn a bit more about this here.
Filthy or filthy.
Right, Humbert Labs, as we saw actually back here. Another reason for this colour palette change was to suggest the focus of this short. This green coloration is
Malta.
super here. Ooh, I'm not entirely sure who this is. I have a feeling Watson has a receipt from this company in her law image? Question mark? I'll have to look at that. But yes. Thinking of Watson and her connections to this overwhelming green that we've descended into. We know who this is connected to. Yeah, this is about Caustic. I think that's a really good piece of sort of set design, helping clue us into the topic of the short. Humbert Labs. This is where supposedly Caustic burnt down his old pesticide laboratory that he worked at. Malta crime family assassinates mayor. Wonder if the crime family is related to the Sawtells, or if that's actually, as the latest comic told us, if that's related to the Silvers, if they're actually a bit more than just in business. Hammond Robotics settles lawsuit. I don't think we actually learn what exactly that lawsuit was about from any of the other images throughout this short. There's much more of this laser pinned board to come. These would be so useful for lawhounds like us. Loch Ness Monster.
Everyone here's a criminal.
Everyone here's criminal. We recognize this fella here as Marcos Andrade, low-level con man. Ooh, that's harsh. The Tenmei restaurant wide targeted. I think we see more of this note shortly. And as I don't come back to it later in the video, Tenmei wide targeted, look into rumors of theft. So it is pretty evident that the Andrade stole something that was pretty important to the Syndicate. But that's as far as that takes us for now. So this fine boxing gentleman is looking into a lot of elements of the history of the Apex Legends story. The Apex Legends story that we've been doing ourselves as well. Hero Cop cracks double homicide. Here is that fella here. The murder of Janelle Cruz. Seemingly that's the murder that he solved. Got the wife here again. Olympus advert. So Olympus obviously exists at this time. We'll see more of that in a bit. His foot with Forge. Kick-ass Hero Cop. The one thing he can't find. Alexander Knox. Presumed dead? Obviously not. Last known location, Zaldana City, the location of Humbert Labs that he burnt down. This I'm not entirely sure about. Trace chemicals found at the scene. Again, laboratory. Yes, that's some evidence. Police rule out arson at the Humbert Labs, even though he totally burnt the place down. More lies. And Mystik. Katerina Tikasek Knox, the owner of the Tikasek orphanage, theoretically foster mother to Crypto and Mila. We've had this confirmed. Beautiful. There's a lot of evidence in this short to come. Don't you worry. Farm foreclosed. Where is mom? So this is definitely the mother, and their farm was foreclosed. I imagine that the farm foreclosing is going to have some sort of inciting motivation as to why Caustic ends up becoming the man that he becomes. Okay, so this gentleman has been doing a lot of work. The one guy he can't find.
Now look at me. Guarding scum, shoveling deep-fried pork with plum sauce. I've outlived my purpose.
Damn.
Like this guy.
Oh, pardon me. Can I be of help?
We gotta face it.
I like that they roll with some of the fun in this as well. The storytelling, along with the animation and all the world building, is so goddamn well done in this short that we're only 50 seconds in. There's so much to talk about here. A guy who feels that he's lost all purpose in his life. Lost all purpose in his life.
I've outlived my purpose. Like this guy.
Oh, pardon me. Can I be of help?
We gotta face facts, pal. Not everyone makes it 12 rounds.
It's my first day on the job.
You miss, there's no second shot.
I'm talking to you, Tin Can!
I hadn't actually thought about that before. I hadn't actually noticed that
First day on the job.
You miss, there's no second shot.
he was about to give up. I never noticed that. That's pretty heavy, man. That makes the weight of this short all the heavier, man. Damn, that's really good. A Rampart gun. Again, I said this is 8 years ago, so Rampart made this when she was 13. Child prodigy weapon maker, like Path with the finger guns. I love that the physicality and the slapstick comedy. It's man, this short knows how to do what it's doing. It knows what it is, and it's reveling in it. Bullets bouncing off robots. I didn't notice the saxes before either. Yes, that's so Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, good. Security.
Drop it.
Oh, no. Security.
Yes. Just you can feel the soul in it, man. It's reveling in its own camp. It knows what it wants to do. I fucking love it. This. QW. Supposedly, QW being the initials of the person who linked Crypto and Mila up with the Apex Games algorithm. So we're introducing the Syndicate, and judging by the hand tattoo and something we'll see later on, yeah, the Syndicate are definitely coming in here.
50 cal Rampart, made for murder.
Exciting.
This a game to you, is it?
This is my job.
A professional? Well, so am I.
There's that image I was talking about. Feels very like Cowboy Bebop's Syndicate in sort of their symbology and how they go about doing what they do, their sort of general aesthetic, their attitude. I dig it. I very much dig how they're rolling with this. And the dialogue here, snappy as hell.
This is my job.
A professional. Well, so am I.
Chris Edgley putting in an amazing performance in this short. The police officer as well is also really good for the lines he gets. Like, a bit more out of him would obviously have been great, but... Bam! There is 2725 footage from Pathfinder in the cafe restaurant as we just saw. So, this is the confirmation that this takes place 8 years before the present day, as Mr. Syndicate Man, potentially Mr. QW, is heading to investigate.
Who sent you? I want a name.
I want a name too. What is it?
I'm asking the questions, Coat Rack. And you're talking. Whatever it takes.
This is very interesting. The fact that he has a device that can download Pat's memory. And there's so much to dig in this bit here. Right. 2725. This is from the current year of this short. Path gets fired. From what I assume. Judging by the Sakura petals, I think, is him working at the Tenmei restaurant, or what became the Reverie restaurant, or the Reverie. So he was actually still there, way closer to the present day than we may have thought. Maybe he went back there after it reopened or rebranded.
Oh! You're fired!
Nice little side eye. Where this is, I have a feeling that this could also be Olympus. It feels like some of the concept art where Loba was stealing artifacts from, or where we see her in her stories from the Outlands stealing like a mask from, feels like it could be Olympus. What exactly it is, I would piss if this is made of Branthium. Just the smoke and thinking about Revenant, and obviously it could just be a thing, but ooh, that'd be interesting. And that was 2724, so that was last year. For Pathfinder. And this, 2 years before the date of this short, 10 years before the present day.
I'm fired?
Stop! Humber Labs. Nox.
Nox.
I knew it!
I love the comedic timing on the,
Fired! Oh! You're fired!
I'm fired?
Stop!
I'm fired. But yes, Pathfinder has experienced so many things across the history of the Outlands, it's amazing. But yes, here is where we stumble upon the actual crime of Dr. Nox burning
Labs.
down Humber Labs.
Nox. I knew it! The bastard's still alive! No, go back! What else do you see?
5% chance.
Right, this one actually needs a little bit of explanation. This is actually the wrong date. Senior writer Manny did go on Twitter to confirm that this is meant to say 2715, which would make this event 18 years before the current timeline of Apex Legends, and Manny also confirmed that this is the explosion on Typhon that took place in Titanfall 2. We now have a resolute timeline from Titanfall 2 to Apex Legends of 18 years. Fuck yes. 2658 is a very key year. Apparently it's just human error why that ended up being put there instead. And that's very key for a few reasons that we'll get to when they become a bit more relevant, which will be soon. Then we have Revenant attacking the Tenmei restaurant, 2708, when Loba's parents got killed, as we had evidenced in one of the Season 4 loading screens, where Pathfinder told us that he had worked at this restaurant previously. That one I missed. This baby, we're gonna come back to you. We're gonna come back to you, baby. Defusing a bomb 3 years ago, just randomly. Nice little element to just throw in there. Hello, baby. 2683, 50 years before the present day. and so 42 years before the events of the short. Whose baby is this? The only things I can really connect are like the hollow things here make me want to link it to Mirage's family somehow. Maybe one of Mirage's older brothers? Or this is possibly... I can't think of any legends who were actually born around this time either, because none of them are around 50 years old, as far as I can think. Could maybe be like Horizon's grandson? Question mark? Because this has some sort of elements of the nursery sort of wallpaper that we saw her son had. It's not the same, but yeah, the floating elements here, especially like what they are, like a star, almost like a bracelet. It always reminds me of Loba's bracelet, and then a musical note or a pipe, or I don't know what I meant to see here. But yeah, the holotech, at least, is it meant to make us think of Mirage? Is it meant to be just that sort of basic of a link in there? Who exactly this bebe is and why, I assume, is very important, but I don't think there's anything to glean from the evidence here exactly who it could be, especially given the timeline of 50 years ago. And then Pathfinder sees Mr. QW, apparently this year, just sees him off a fool. So this guy's been looking for him for a while, so this is obviously him getting onto the trail that he's been leading up to, so they've got some investment into Pathfinder. And this ship, 2718. So 3 years after the explosion on Typhon, and so 15 years before the present day, which makes it 7 years before the events of Fight Night. Where exactly he's going, this is obviously a recent travel, because yeah, we go further back than this. The 2658 was important, as I said. Where exactly he's going here and why is obviously up for interpretation. There's not much about the planets themselves here that I think we would know of that would allow us to make really a judgment on that. So, carrying on. Stop! I've gone on way too much. I'll just see if I can let this play for a bit. Nope. Oh yeah, we want to watch this. We're just going to watch this in full, then we'll go back over it.
Pathfinder.
We've made you for a great purpose.
So he finally gets a name, calling back to that bit earlier that the one thing he's after is a name. But this lady here...
Pathfinder.
This bit is so A New Hope. It is the... She even does like the turn. It's Princess Leia all over again. It is Princess Leia all over again. The turn. You are our only hope.
Pathfinder.
We've made you for a great purpose.
Made for a great purpose. Awesome to hear. Always nice to hear that Pathfinder wasn't just randomly made, right?
Pathfinder.
Dr. Amelie P. We'll come back to her at the end. We'll see if we can jump through this to
Pathfinder.
see if we can jump through this to some of the juicier actual details. So this all happened as the Phase Runner destructed and formed the Rift, as we know, which we know took place in the 2650s, which, as we'll learn soon, this was recorded in 2658 and is the 0th or 1st memory entry for Pathfinder. So, this evidently took place on Olympus as the Rift was being formed, and Dr. Amelie P evidently feels that Pathfinder was everybody's way forward.
Who the hell?
I'll take it from here. Excuse me, friend. I think I'm about to discover my purpose.
Hey! Mob's not taking my witness. I need him.
You need me?
Piss off, Scablet.
Bam!
I love this sort of like father-son dynamic they're already sort of getting, which might sort of tie into the guy's lost wife. Oh man. And yeah, this line comes back a bit later.
Bam!
In a really nice callback.
You're coming with me.
I love that shot.
You're coming with me.
Bam! It's that sudden pull out. Yeah, that's delightful.
security guards made off with the Marvin. Stop them!
Nice bit of bamboozle, even before he met Mirage. This heats up quick. When we get into the sort of the big visual stuff, we'll just try and power through it. Bam! Lovely framing, lovely repetition. I love that.
Listen, they'll be on us any minute. I need what's inside you.
Friendship?
What? No!
Just you and me, friend.
You're not my...
Oh, yeah, Pathfinder is so well written. Just, he really carries, like, the soul of this piece, man. And again, Chris Edgley just puts in, like, a fantastic performance, just bringing that life and joy out of it.
My friend, just show me the data you have on Nox.
Pathfinder.
No, you idiot! There's no time for this!
I think it's here that you can see, yeah, 2658.
Made you
I think that's the clearest point that we actually get to see that this is 2658. Dr. Amelie P, the emergency station, self-destruct on Olympus as the rift is being formed. Dr. Amelie P, I assume, means, given the timeline of 85 years ago, the P could either stand for Paquette or Peck. Given the relation to Olympus, Peck would make her a relative of its founder, Dr. Lillian Peck, and would suggest like a family feud or some kind of coup between the two sisters, I would imagine at that point. The other alternative then is Dr. Amelie Paquette would make her Watson's grandmother, which means that the Paquettes are being tied almost by a leash and by their gravestones, to the Syndicate for a long time. This is pretty hefty, potentially, for someone like Watson. It's a much better conflict if this does actually have some further impact on Watson herself, rather than Lillian Peck, who we don't really know is possibly dead, and that we don't really have to care about anymore. Like, Ash is possibly just, like, using her name to run Olympus at this point, so yeah.
For a void purpose.
Uh-oh, friend.
Maldera. Ex-Lieutenant Maldera.
Ex-Lieutenant Victor Maldera of, as far as I remember, the guy in police force, discharged dishonorably after he refused to believe that the corpse found at the scene of the Humbert Labs arson was Dr. Alexander Knox, Caustic. His name actually appears all the way back in a Season 1 lore piece as sort of the official coroner's report on Alexander Knox. So this guy has been sitting in the background for a long, long time. This is a Respawn doing their classic Rosencrantz and Guildenstern style of storytelling that they were trying to do with Titanfall 1. As Manny says, we're right in the middle of the whole story as it stands, with some connective glue of Mr. QW and Victor Maldera tying us together. I do wonder if we will see more of Mr. Maldera. He could become a legend, he's definitely got the incentive to do so, and as we'll see at the end of the short, he's got far more then than he does now. But there's every chance that he could just stay in the background as a supporting character, helping drive the plot in his own way. And there he is, Olympus. That shot's so... all the animation, like, the designs, even like the physical movement, which we'll get into very shortly, like how everything's framed, especially in this short, is just so goddamn beautiful. And I think they are using 2D and 3D animation in this shot. Like Olympus and the ships are 3D animated and the rain itself is 2D. Again, it just really speaks to the awesome stylization of this. This feels like a real city in the sky that I want to go back to. Damn, I love it.
Surrender and we'll help you find Nox. You can't escape.
Don't worry, I used to be a pilot. It's your lucky day, friend. Luckily, lightning never strikes the same.
I love that sequence, man. Again, I really like that they don't get too self-serious with everything, that they do keep this sort of light-hearted, jokey nature to everything.
It's the same.
Makes it feel like a proper, like, space opera romp, do you know what I mean? It feels fun.
Great specters.
You don't know what that Marvin is, Maldera. Just hand it over, and Nox is yours. You have my word.
But we have each other. Just you and me, friend.
Sorry, Marv. You can't know what it's like to finally find the thing that gives your life meaning.
Oh no, friend!
The power of friendship doesn't always win out, man. Personal character motivation is key. Something people kind of tend to forget, especially with the Lobo versus Revenant thing. Yes, I'm glad that he refuses at first. I'm glad that he lets them in, that he would have given Pathfinder up for his own goals. I think that's brilliant. You make friendships. You and me, friend. We'll see. Nice to see where Path got his grappling skills from. Bam! Action pose as fuck. I love that shot. That's gorgeous, man.
Nice thing!
Yes! It's so damn, it's just so in character, just awkward and lovable and still kicking ass. Yes, Pathfinder, there's a reason why we love you so much, my friend. Put up your jukes! That camera tilt, yes man, I love how they incorporated that into the shot just after the build-up from each of the Spectre's blows matching to the notes of the Apex theme. It's just so well choreographed, it's so well put together, so dynamically animated and edited. Yeah man, the filmmaking in this piece is so fantastic. I'd argue that this is in contention easily for the best stories of the Outlands. For so many of these reasons, but probably for its just overall filmmaking, like, craft. I'd say is what makes it feel like Noir Wars to me. It feels like Star Wars. It's got this richness to it that I think, you just shouldn't be missing out on, man. It's so good. The duck with the sign as well. The tilt and back. The stop. The low angle, bam. I told you that line would come back. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Seeing how he's learning from his surroundings and his experiences so fast, like how he picks up boxing and grapple fighting so well.
Oh.
Bam. We missed out. That Apex theme music with the punches. It's just everything about it is just so well put together, man.
Scablander.
Takes a real bullet this time.
Say goodnight.
And the setup from the beginning, proper Chekhov's gun. I, again, didn't notice this on my first time watching, but the whole point of, like, having the gun at the beginning was the setup for this bit at the end. And the fact that Mr. QW actually shot at Pathfinder definitely proves to me that they want Pathfinder gone. Which then makes me wonder why the Syndicate is now keeping an eye on Pathfinder. So there must be some kind of difference as to what and why Pathfinder is important. Some people obviously want him eliminated, I think for reasons we'll come to very shortly. But there's obviously also reasons why people want him kept around.
Just you and me, friend.
power of friendship wins out in the end. You make your friends, man. Oh.
We did it. Hey. You all right? The Nox files. No!
Chooses.
We're almost here. Marvin, we need
She
you.
lets him listen.
Your existence is proof that the Outlands can survive. People must be told that you are our Pathfinder. We've made you for a great purpose.
And he sacrifices what he valued most for his new friend.
Not everyone makes it 12 rounds. You miss, there's no second shot. Or so I thought. Thanks, friend. But it turns out that some of us are made for a great purpose.
I had to let that play out, man. It's so beautifully done. Again, just the cinematography, the slow fade, like the desaturation of color as the memory file plays out and as Path starts to go under, and the fact that the French accent definitely links her a bit more back to the Paquettes.
Is proof that the Outlands can survive.
His existence is proof that the Outlands can survive. Is he some kind of secret to a different form of perpetual energy? Does he hold the clue that the Outlands isn't actually in an energy crisis and there's ways that it has to self-sustain itself in the first place, and the energy crisis has been manufactured for other reasons? But yes, it's tying Pathfinder into the core history of the universe of Apex Legends as we know it. And damn, is that fantastic. And yes, this desaturation here.
People must be told that you are our Pathfinder. We've made you for a great purpose.
You are our only hope. Yeah, this desaturation here.
Not everyone makes it 12 rounds. You miss, there's no second shot.
Into the classic noir voiceover detective inner monologue, like the gruffness. I love it. Well done, Victor.
Or so I thought. Thanks, friend.
And he made a friend, man.
But it turns out that some of us
I love this texturing, this, like, almost like the filter they've put over it. It feels very like Sin City, like, where they took outlines and blurred them over with, like, extreme washed out color, and just the visual effect on it is so fantastic, man. Like, the screen turning, like, pure black and refracted white, like...
are made.
Look at that shit! It's just... I say just... shapes and color, but it looks so real but unreal, man. It looks so cool. I love the stylization they've gone for, like, with this final, like, closing shot. Really cements, like, the classic, like, wistful nature of noir and how the world as we know it can sort of overshadow us as individuals, and goddamn, man. Yeah, just how this piece is shot all told, just every element of cinematography. I've gone past lore now. Like, I love how this piece is put together so much.
People must be told that.
As she says, I think a little earlier, that there were people coming. As I mentioned, there's probably, like, a coup against her, which Ash must have been involved with. You are our only hope. It's Noir Wars, man. I fucking love it. Ah, there we go. 2658. Yeah. That was the confirmation. This ties again to the timeline that we knew for Olympus, with Olympus built in 2640 and Horizon seemingly getting betrayed 2645. The podcast interview with Waldorf and Norma, History's Rift, confirms that the Rift was created in the late 2650s, and a Season 5 loading screen from Mirage confirming that the energy crisis became public across the Outlands in 2655. But his history behind him is evidently from this point here.
Pathfinder, we've for it.
The Pathfinder goes on to become Pathfinder and join the Apex Games. After he awakens,
Not everyone makes it 12 rounds. You miss, there's no second shot. Or so I thought. Thanks, friend. But it turns out that some of us are made for a great purpose.
is this in Solace City, where the first ship tells us that he woke up for the first time with no memory of who he was? Or is that all the way back in 2658-ish, after Dr. Amelie P turned him on for the first time, and the coup occurred, potentially killing her in the Phase Runner explosion? It would make much more sense for Pathfinder to have gone just down to the Psamathe planet side after that event. So I'd assume that it's from this point that he gets put into some kind of recycling system and sent to a warehouse in Solace City. And with that, I think that's all the little lore hints that we were going to get out of Fight Night. We got the introduction of ex-Lieutenant Victor Maldera, evidently a strong driving force in the overall political machinations of the Apex Legends universe. We learned to at least some extent how relevant Pathfinder is to that history as well. And as Ash said, man, all roads lead to Branthium. It's pretty fantastic how well they're tying all the legends and all their storylines and the overarching world of the Outlands itself into this overarching narrative. I think that's fantastic. Fight Night is absolutely gorgeous, tightly paced and focused, with strong themes of destiny, friendship and purpose, and stylistically expressive as hell. And never even mind the web of little lore points that we've built from this now. This gives us such a foundation to make the Outlands like a living, breathing world, with its own conflict that we've been thrown right in the deep end of. This actually spells pretty well for much bigger things out of the Apex Legends franchise at this point. Story-wise, game-wise, Fight Night has done a hell of a lot. It has landed every damn blow. Hopefully expanding maybe a bit more on Psamathe or taking us back to Gaia is going to kickstart these storylines into the present, involving potentially Pathfinder and the Marvin, obviously Caustic, definitely then Crypto, and very seemingly Watson. Never mind Horizon and Ash and how they were involved with Olympus as well. If Horizon knew Watson's grandmother, that's really cute. That could be really cute. There's so much good that has come out of this short. Apex Legends have been feeding us lately. The color palettes are so strong in this as well, and then it feels all the more impactful when it all gets sucked out and we go down to pure black and white at the end. Just look at that shot, man. It looks like it's been done in almost like a pseudo modern sci-fi noir, which it fucking is. The shot composition and the angles and the color palettes they choose to use, it's so goddamn visually brilliant. Never mind the goddamn fight scene on the Goblin dropship. Pathfinder swinging around on top and all those cool camera movements and shit. Yeah, man. These guys know how to throw a party, and they've got us right in the ring with them. I kind of need to stop gushing about all this before I don't go the 12 rounds myself. This has been the new Apex Legends Stories from the Outlands Pathfinder's Fight Night. I think it is right in contention for the strongest piece of media that they've put out to date on so many fronts, as I've tried to outline as thoroughly as I can thus far. Like how even the character dilemmas and growth played into the overall motivations and action of the plot. The sci-fi nature of the world itself bleeds into the motivations of the characters and how the world works and what happens because of those things. It is such a fantastically crafted world. You can see how much effort and care has gone into building it, and I'm glad to be here. I'd like to give my thanks to the Apex Legends lore community across the internet, Twitter, Reddit, etc. for pointing out a bunch of these details that I was able to bring in and put together here today. So huge thank you to the lore hounds out there. Thank you for staying with me and listening to all my crazy rambly shit. Tell me if there's anything I missed. I hope I found something that you didn't spot or maybe hadn't thought about in a certain way. Come chat about Fight Night with me down in the comments. Try and prove to me that it's not the best cinematic. Tell me which is your favourite over it if you do have one, because that's enough out of me. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support. Take care of yourselves out there, teammates, and may the glorious light of Beskir shine within you, friend. Bye-bye.